Hi, everyone. This is Karen Hooley, and welcome to this week's version of our live chat with Team Whooleygan. It's August, oh gosh, it's August 18th. The days are just zooming by for me right now, guys. We have so much going on for the wedding that it feels like all my days are blurring together. But I wanted to get on Zoom today, and I'm going to start with all my normal credits. So if you're popping in, make sure you say hello in the chat. But for those of you who are watching me for the first time, you can find out everything there is to know about me at KarenHooley.com. I've got the link right there at the bottom of the screen. That is my website. Everything about Karen Hooley Designs, everything from patterns, books, classes, blog posts, all sorts of stuff. Everything that encompasses Karen Hooley Designs is there. So make sure you check it out. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. I have a link right here at the bottom of the screen that will allow you to go directly to the subscribe form. So make sure you do that because I do have a new pattern being released next week. And newsletter subscribers get 25% off all new released patterns. They also get discounts on new books as I release them. They'll be the first to know about classes and all the other stuff that goes along with it. So make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. If you're not watching this on YouTube, here's the link to my YouTube channel. Make sure you go over there. And if you're on YouTube right now, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on this live stream so that I can reach more crocheters out there because I'd really love to see our Team Whooleygan weekly chats grow. If you're not on YouTube, if you are on YouTube, you can also watch these live on Facebook. This is my Facebook official link. Sorry, guys, I didn't get much sleep last night, so bear with me. Anyway, this is my Facebook page. I live stream simultaneously to YouTube and to Facebook, so you can always watch it there. And then after the lives are over, you can also watch it on Rumble. I always upload these to Rumble. Rumble is another video streaming platform. Right now, I cannot live stream to Rumble, so I just have to upload later, but that's my Rumble channel if you're interested in that as well. My Rumble channel is actually larger than my YouTube channel. I have more followers there than I do on YouTube, so that might be a place to go check out. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm at Karen Hooley. That's where I'm most active, although right now kind of slowed down due to my daughter's wedding coming up. So I just want to let you know you can also follow me there. I'm going to head over to the chat room and see who's here. I see there's a couple of comments there. So good morning, Renee. I'm glad you're here. And good morning, Stephanie. I'm glad you're here as well. Anybody else here? I see there's a few people watching, but they haven't popped in. I did want to let everybody know just to say a little prayer for Brat's mom. That's Linda. She's not going to be here today. She's going to catch after the fact, but she did email me yesterday and told me that she wasn't going to be here because Brat, her cat, has cancer and she's dealing with all of that right now. So if you're inclined, send her a little prayer or some good thoughts right now because I know she's going through a rough time. Andrea's here. Good morning. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to get moving on with what I've been working on. First thing I want to show you, I haven't put the ribbon in it yet, but this is my daughter's garter for her wedding. It's done. I think I showed you part of this maybe. It's that the size 10 thread from Hobby Lobby, and I can't remember. Is it Artiste? Something like that. Somebody told me last week, and I can't remember now. But I did buy the ribbon finally. I had originally bought a ribbon, but it was too wide and it folded really funny. So the other day I went and went to Michael's and grabbed some ribbon. And so this is perfect. This is going to fit in there perfectly without folding funny. So I'm going to finish that up today. I didn't bring it in here with me, but I also finished her ring bearer pillow. I think I showed you my wedding dress last week, which was kind of fun. I finished the pillow. I should probably bring it out maybe next week if I'm going to be on. I'm not 100% sure, guys, if I'm going to do next week. So I think I am. Artiste, that is it. Renee just found it or told me. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. I've also been working on, I showed you the yarn. There was a variegated as well. I haven't started using this color yet. I'm almost done with the variegated. I'm using the colors separately. This is for the free pattern for 2022. So I'm not showing you the project. So you'll see that January 1st. But if you are a newsletter subscriber, you'll get the pattern for free. So if you subscribe now, you'll get Pache, which is 2021's pattern for free. I don't know how many of you are subscribed. And then on January 1st, 2022, you will get this pattern, whatever it's going to be. I haven't figured out what I'm going to name it yet. So that's what I've been working on. I also, in between, have been pulling out. I have a pair of socks on my knitting needles, but I forgot to bring that up with me. So I'm also behind the scenes. I haven't been doing a whole lot of work. My social media has suffered the last week or so, 2 weeks more now because of the wedding. I mean, even this afternoon, I have a Zoom call with one of the vendors. We've been dealing with, all the final stuff. So it's been a little nuts around here. So, but we're really excited because we're under 20 days now out. She gets married on September 4th. And I probably should let you guys know too that I will be out of the office from September 1st through Labor Day, which I think is the 5th, the 6th. So from the 1st through the 6th, I will be out of the office. I will have access to my email, but I probably won't be responding that much because we are going to be doing all the last minute stuff. So anyway, so what's new in the studio? I think I mentioned to you guys last week that I had a new pattern. I should pull it out because I do have a hard copy. Hang on. There it is. Okay. So Friday last week started the Puget Sound LYS tour. It's, I think, 25 or 26 yarn shops in the Puget Sound area all the way to the Canadian border that are doing a shop tour. And this year, because of COVID and all that, last year they did it all virtually. This year, they decided to do a hybrid. So they do have people coming to the shops as well as online. And you don't have to live in the Puget Sound to participate. You can go to the shops on their website, and they all have instructions on how to get this pattern for free. But we announced on Friday the new pattern, and that's this. It's a Lottie point. It looks like that's a lady, but it's a Lottie. It's I think it's Scottish, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. It's up. It's a place up in near Camino Island. I think it might even be on the island on the west side of our state. But this is the shawl that is at Stilly River Yarns, and you can get this pattern free through Sunday. Today is the 18th. Yes, through Sunday. After Sunday, it's going to be unavailable until Tuesday, the 24th. And I'm going to release it on my website. And along with this pattern, we're going to do a crochet-along. So if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you'll find out how to get this pattern if you don't get it through Stilly River Yarns. You can go to Stilly, S-T-O. You know what? I'll put it in the chat. It's StillyRiverYarns.com. Okay. So StillyRiverYarns.com. That's the website. You can find out how to get this pattern for free. Now, if you don't get the pattern for free, I will have it available starting on the 24th on my website. And at the same time, you will be able to register for the crochet-a-long. And the crochet-a-long is free. The only requirement I have to be a part of the crochet-a-long is to have purchased the pattern or gotten it free through the Yarn Shop tour. So I just noticed Kelly came on. Have a great day at the Yarn Shop. I hope everything's going well with you. Anyway, so the crochet-along's coming. Now, the yarn I used for this is Noro Sonata. So I am going with the crochet-along. There's a couple things that are going to happen. First is that I am going to be doing a giveaway as usual, and I'm going to show you some of the prizes that Knitting Fever sent me. Knitting Fever is the distributor of Noro in the United States. So they sent me a really great bag of prizes for the crochet-along. But also the crochet-along is going to go from, let's see, September 13th is the first day, and it'll end October 4th with the drawing for the giveaway. And so it's 4 weeks. It's a really simple pattern, but every Monday, starting with the 13th, I'm going to be doing a Zoom call in the evenings, like I did with the Bewitched Cowl. So if you're watching this after the fact and you did the Bewitched Cowl, watch for that crochet-along. So I'm really excited to show you what the prizes are going to be. I just saw Pat come in. Hi, Pat. Good morning. It's good to see you. I was just talking about how you can get this pattern free through Sunday, and then it's going on sale on my site on Monday. This is the free pattern for Stilly River Yarns in Stanwood, Washington for the Puget Sound local yarn shop tour this year. But I'm going to do a crochet-along starting the 14th or the 13th. And let me show you what they sent me. What Knitting Fever sent me. Oh my gosh, guys. This is a bag of Noro Sonata. Isn't that amazing? So the cool thing about this is that they sent me enough skeins of yarn. I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull two out at a time just to kind of show you. So the colors that they sent, oh my gosh, this purple is amazing. And I know Andrea loves purple. Here's two different blues. And then one of those blues with kind of a brown. I mean, I'm gonna match them up as sets, but there's enough here for 8 prizes. So here is a really, it's kind of a really dark fuchsia. The sunlight in my office is making it a little brighter than it actually is on that one. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I have a gold with the pink, that same pink. I've got a cream that you didn't see before. And I've got, I have more than that. So I might have an extra skein in there. So the cream and the pink. So I've been pulling them out 2 at a time, and I have an extra gold here. So I've got some wiggle room to put things together. So, but the colors are amazing, aren't they? I love this blue. This blue is just gorgeous. And it's a different blue than I used, I believe, on this one. Yeah, it is definitely different. This one's more of a turquoise, and this one's more of a light sapphire blue. So aren't these awesome? Andrea, I've known you for a lot of years. That's why I can say that. And Kelly is also a devout purple girl. I only have 1 skein of the purple. They only sent me 1. So you never know. And what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to put them all together, and I'm going to put them in bags and seal them before I put labels on them for the winners, so that I don't know who got what, and you don't know who got what until you get them. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take these off my desk for a minute. So if you're interested in joining the crochet along. You don't have to make the Zoom calls to be a part of the crochet along. The other part that I'm working on behind the scenes, this is something I am working on behind the scenes, is Blurple is a close section. I like that too, Blurple. And then Renee says she loves the yarn. And I do have to tell you, the Noro Sonata, if you've ever used curry on, you know how scratchy it is. But Sonata is really soft. It's a, let me see if I can give you the blend. It is 35% cotton, 25% viscose, 20% silk, and 20% polyamide. So it's really soft. It's a, what do you call it? It's a single ply yarn. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to work with. It's wonderful to crochet with. I can't even tell you. And it has some properties that are like thick and thin. So it makes it, the stitches, the gauge was really hard for me to figure out. So I kind of, when I actually did the shawl, and I'll talk about this on the Zoom calls, but I will do, I kind of just started it and waited out to get it to, you know, to design the shawl, because the gauge, until I got it on the blocking board and blocked it out, I mean, even just doing a square, the way the thick and thin kind of worked, it was hard to get a gauge swatch that actually gave me true gauge until I actually made the project. So that worked. It is a, I want to say it's sport weight. It's sport weight. And it's so soft, so soft. Okay. Stephanie likes the pink and cream combo, or the blue and cream. Yeah, I do too. I think those are gorgeous too. And like Kelly asked, it's a sport weight yarn. I used, let me see what size hook I used. I can't even remember. Size F, 3.75 millimeter crochet hook to make it. There's some cute pictures. My photographer did a great job, you know, having her do some of the pictures better. So, oops, which way? There you go. So it's actually a super fun project. When you finish the shawl, you only have 4 ends because you're working side to side and you're changing colors every row. So, and the way I do my color changes, and that's why I'm going to do Zoom calls. Zoom calls, if you remember with, if those of you who were part of the Bewitched, I tried to teach a part of it every time. This time, I'm probably going to teach only the first one, and the rest of the Zoom calls are going to be questions, comments. I might reteach if I have to, because there's really not a whole lot once you get started. I mean, unless you don't know how to decrease or anything like that. And I already have my colors pulled aside. When I was designing this, Knitting Fever was really great about sending me some extra to choose my colors. So this is the one. These is the colors I'm going to use for the actual crochet along in September. So so you can start thinking about colors. Again, the pattern is going to be released next Tuesday, and the crochet along won't start until the 13th, the 13th of September. So you've got time to get your yarns and stuff like that. And when you purchase the pattern, if you are on my newsletter, you're going to have a coupon code, and the coupon code is automatically going to put the crochet along in your basket for free as well. So you'll automatically get the information about the crochet along. And that's only true for my newsletter subscribers and the code I'm going to use on social media. Social media gets only 10% off. So that's why I'm saying subscribe to my newsletter, because you always get the bigger discount. The codes I use on social media will also put the crochet along so everybody gets the information. Noro, you can go to any yarn shop usually. I know you could go to Stilly River, the one that I that I linked there, she's got the information on how to get the Noro yarn from her. And if you buy the Noro yarn for this pattern, you get the pattern for free. If you wait until Tuesday, you will have to find you still go to Stilly River as long as she still has it in stock after the tour, which she usually buys more than enough for that. But you can still get the yarn through her. But right now, I believe she's got it at 10 or 20% off too. So Stilly River is where I would go. That's where I'm going to recommend. You can't, as far as I know, you can't buy yarn directly from Knitting Fever. You have to buy through a yarn shop or one of the retailers, unless you're a wholesale buyer, which I'm sure most of you are not. So yeah, check with your local yarn shops, but also check with Stilly River Yarns, and that's a way to get the pattern for free. So I'm trying to think what else that goes along with that crochet-a-long. Oh, I know what it is. I am working in 2022. There's going to be some new things happening that I don't want to disclose the whole picture, but part of what I'm doing, and the crochet-a-long is actually going to be a test for this. But on my website, there's going to be what I'm going to call groups for right now. I don't know, and they're going to be kind of like a feed where if you're part of the crochet-a-long, you have to create an account, and when you get the crochet-a-long information, I will email everybody who gets the crochet-a-long information with information on how to get to the group. And the group is something that's going to be online, and it's going to allow you to have a kind of like a Facebook feed in a way, where someone can post a question and you can respond underneath it, or you can post another question, or I can post a question, or I can post something, and you'll be able to add pictures of your project as you go along, and you can meet other people. So if you're interested in doing that, so I'll have two pieces that'll be a social part of this crochet-a-long. One is the Zoom calls, and the second part is the group online. And one of my goals for 2022 is to make my website the destination for everything. So I'm trying to get away from Facebook as much as I can. I'm trying to find a way to live stream on my website so I don't have to worry as much about, how do I say it? The trolls that we've had for now and then. I have more control over that. It's not to say that I won't post those live streams on YouTube or on Rumble or on Facebook, later, but I'd like my website to be the community for Team Whooleygan, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know if you guys have any questions for me. Anybody have questions for me on the crochet-a-long? They've never done a crochet-a-long with me. This is only the second time I've done them with Zoom, but it was so successful last time. Everybody who participated, in fact, I'm going to try to get my list of people who participated that I haven't seen in a while around. Some of them used to pop in here. Some of them would email me after and let them know we're doing another one. But the Zoom call was huge for everyone. And I apologize to the West Coast or the East Coast people, because it is going to start at 6 p.m. Pacific. And the only reason why it has to start that late is because I need to get as many people off of work as possible. And it includes feeding my husband before I get on Zoom. So, I mean, not that he can't feed himself, but since it's just the two of us, we like to kind of stick together. So, we try to eat as much as possible. MTB, having one place as a hub, all these, yes. MTB, that's not Mary Beth Temple, is it? No, that can't be. Who's MTB? I don't think I've met you before. Never done a crochet-a-long. How do you win prizes? Good question, Renee. Okay, so this is kind of how I do them. Everybody has their own way of doing them. This is how I do them. the way I do them, and this is where the group's going to come into play, is that I'm going to give you a deadline of the morning of the October 4th to complete your shawl. So that by the time I do, and I'll give you a time, Pacific time, that I'm going to need them. And the way we do that is I have you post a picture in the group of your finished shawl. And it can be it just laying flat. It can be on the blocking board. It can be someone taking a picture of you wearing it, that kind of thing. And I'll give you a time. I haven't decided what time of day I want. It's probably going to, I'm probably going to determine it by how many people are sending me finished pictures. And if you make more than one, and I can tell you, Pat is here, and she made, I don't remember, was it 4 or 5 bewitched cowls during our crochet-along? I can't remember. You get, for multiples, you get an entry for each one. So you have to have the picture posted in the group by a certain time on the day that I'm going to do the drawing. And then what I do is put everybody's names in a bowl, and I do the drawing online on the 4th. And that's how you win prizes. So that's how it works. And then, like I said, if you can't make all the Zooms, or you can't make 1 or 2 of the Zooms, that's okay. As long as you're, I like to make sure people are doing okay. So that's why I have the group there too. I want you guys to get to know each other. Team Whooleygan is something that I really want to be a community, a crochet community, and a crochet community of people, not just because you like my patterns, but because we all, love crochet, and that's kind of why I do the things the way I do them. So that's why I'm looking at doing groups on my website for the future going forward. And I'll talk about that later on as we get closer to the end of the year and as I start doing new things. Let's see. Oh, that's right, Andrea, you were there. Yes, especially during COVID. Well, that's kind of why I decided to do it as a Zoom call, because I just needed that contact too. So yeah, it was fun. And then Michelle B. Okay, Michelle B. 9 p.m. is okay since I'm done with work in house by then. Yeah, I know. And I just always feel bad because 9 o'clock seems really late in the evening for me. To start something like that. But I usually try to keep it to an hour, and you don't have to stay for the whole thing. So there you go. 6 p.m. my time. So that would be 6 p.m. Pacific. So 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. 3 or 4. Okay, I couldn't remember, Pat. That's how many cowls you made. You made quite a few, though. And so that's how I run the crochet-alongs. I try to pop into the group. I mean, last time we used a different platform, but I found something. I'm actually going to be working with a web designer, and she's like that does maintenance on websites and stuff. And she recommended this platform that I'm going to be using. And she said, as we go forward, there's ways for me to really lock it down so that I don't get all the riffraff we get here on YouTube. So, and sometimes on Facebook too. So that's kind of where we're at with the crochet-along. Anybody else have any questions for me who's never done a crochet-along? It's a lot of fun, and I'm not going to have just the yarn. I bought some Team Whooleygan swag, and I have some things in my own stash and stuff that I will be adding to those packages. But there will be 8 prizes this time around, so you have a better chance of winning a prize this year. So, and I'm going to try to do, if you guys like crochet-alongs, I'm going to try to do 3 regular crochet-alongs where you know what the pattern is, and try to do them quarterly, and then 1 mystery a year. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. I haven't fleshed it all out completely, but that's kind of where I'd like to go with crochet-alongs. I do 1 a quarter if I can. Maybe 2 to 3 times a year I can guarantee, or maybe I can say twice a year I can guarantee, because I am still dealing with cancer treatments until next summer. So that might, depending on where my brain is, my next set of treatments are in October, it looks like, or as long as everything's clear in late September, I'll have my next round in. So I'll know as they progress how I'll be feeling. But I'd like to do at least 2 a year, 1 a mystery and 1 a regular. But I'd like to eventually get to the point where we're doing 3 a year. So, anybody else have questions for me at all on that? Okay. I'm gonna take some coffee here real quick. Okay, well, I'm going to move on to my next topic. And one of the things, like I told you, I'm thinking about next year. One of the things, too, I should mention is that my next newsletter, which will be at the beginning of September, I was planning, if you're on my newsletter, I told you it'd probably come out the second week of September, but I've got so much stuff already that needs to be sent out, that first newsletter, that I'm just going to schedule it. I'm going to get it done before I go dark on the 1st and have it pre-scheduled so that you'll get it on the 3rd of September. I had to look at my calendar. The 3rd of September with some information. And part of that is I have a survey that I'm going to have you guys fill out. And it's on a lot of different things. I mean, it's on clubs like yarn clubs, pattern clubs, things like that, video learning, whether you like it live, whether you like a static one on YouTube, or if you, and actually I should probably ask this question here. How many of you subscribe to a platform like Craftsy for, static classes that you can either access everything on the site as, if you have 100% membership, or you can just buy the class and have the one class. Are any of you doing that at all? Because that's something I'm thinking about doing. Well, I am definitely going to be doing classes. I mean, honestly, both live classes on Zoom and some static classes that you can just, register for whenever. And along with that, I'll have dedicated office hours so that if you're taking a current class, I'll have special office hours for that, or not a current class, a live class. I'll have special office hours for that class. But but I'm going to have dedicated office hours for, like, let's say I offer a class on foundation stitches that it's all videos and you can do it at your own pace. I'll still have dedicated office hours for those classes so I'll separate what's live and what's not, that kind of thing. So Renee has purchased classes on Craftsy. Used to have Craftsy and Knit and Crochet, now no longer subscribe. Andrea, why are you no longer subscribing? I'm just curious on that, because I've heard a lot of people saying they're not subscribing to those, or even the Annie's classes. So I'm just curious. And Michelle has been doing Zoom classes. Just took one from Edie on shawl shaping. Yeah, I'm going to be doing, as soon as this wedding is over, I'm going to start scheduling more live Zoom classes. I just don't have the brain power right now to even think about what I want to teach, let alone what you guys want me to teach. So I know Edie's been doing tons of Zoom classes lately. So, but one of the things I wanted to talk about is classes you would like to see me teach. I do have a list from a while ago that people asked me to do on my lives, and I am going to do these on my lives in little miniature forms, but well, not all of them were but one is on top-down sweaters. That's one of my most popular classes when I teach at live events. I teach top-down raglan style sweaters, and I'm definitely going to do some stuff with that class. I've also been asked to do classes on cables, how to do them, how to not lose stitches when you're doing that. And I know that's a hard thing for a lot of people, so I would definitely be doing that. I'm also thinking about doing a little mini class, maybe. I don't know if I'll do it on a live or if I'll do just a little mini video for you guys on yarn weights. So like talking about from lace weight to super bulky or whatever the highest range is right now. I think it's super bulky. And showing you swatches, and I'm just going to have to get some yarn, and that's something that I want to do after the wedding is over, is figure out what yarn brand I want to use, and then just kind of go through all of that. I want to do a mini class on gauge and everything I know about gauge. And that's something people have been asking for a lot. And then people have been asking me to do information about my design process, and I've got a question mark next to that, because my design process is so all over the board. Honestly, guys, it's really, like I told you with this shawl here, I literally designed it by crocheting it. There was no, I mean, I kind of knew what I wanted it to look like, but it was actually, the design process happened as I was crocheting. Other times I write it all out. I, do swatches and figure it all out first. Like garments is usually how I do it. Even blankets, when I've done blankets, I'll swatch first and figure out the pieces I want in the blankets and things like that. So I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do a class on my design process, but I want to hear what you guys, other than those topics that I just listed, is what would you like to see me teach? Let's see. Michelle says, I've taken a couple classes through Vogue Knitting Live and Stitches. Yeah. Are you talking about live classes, or are you talking about Zoom classes, Michelle? And, let's see. No Craftsy because of all the changes. No KNC now because it seems repetitive now. And okay, that's good to know, because I've noticed that with Knit and Crochet now too, honestly. And all the changes, being a Craftsy instructor, it's been interesting. I don't know. It's been interesting. I'm kind of, because I get royalties on my classes, whether you are on the subscription plan or if you buy the classes outright. I still get royalties on them. And so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on my 2 classes right now before I decide if I'm ever going to pitch more classes to them or not. Let's see. Michelle says, I still belong to Craftsy, but they don't add new crochet. Yes, I know. That's something. Well, COVID, when Blueprint sold to the new company, we were told because of COVID, we weren't going to be able to do classes as much. They've opened that up now. They have some restrictions with vaccines and stuff like that, I think. At least that's the last I heard from the rumor mill. So I don't know, I haven't been reached out to teach classes for them. So I don't know how they're doing it at this point. So that's probably why you're not seeing crochet classes very often. Yarn weights, how different yarns can be when they're not plied, loosely plied. Yes. Okay. That's definitely in the yarn weights class. Definitely. Okay. I mean, yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Gauge class sounds great. Those were Zoom classes. Okay. Anybody else have any classes they'd like to see me teach, topics they'd like to see me teach, whether it's live or whether it's a class you can just purchase the registration and do as you're on your own? I'm trying to think of classes that I teach. I teach, actually, let me pull up my list of classes that I've already have in my repertoire. And then you can tell me if these are things you'd like to see me teach online. Here we go. Oops. Wrong one. class. There we go. All right, so I teach beading, which I can actual crochet beads, things like this. So this is just a bracelet done with clear beads and a yarn that's very long striping. So I teach beaded ropes. I teach color work, which is like Fair Isle color work. I have continental for knitting for crocheters. I have crochet lace basics. I have double-ended crochet hook classes. I have how to put crochet edgings on knits. So if you're a knitter as well as a crocheter, I can do a class on different edging, crochet edgings, and how to apply them to knitted fabric. I have pattern reading classes, Delta crochet classes. I have a dragon scales bracelet, which I don't have the sample of the dragon scales, but it's basically using beads that, this is another beaded different color. It's using the same technique with a different type of beads that actually make it look like a dragon scale instead of just beads in a tube. I teach a finishing class. I teach nooking, which is not as popular as it used to be. I don't know if you remember Leisure Arts had a whole set of nooking classes, and I used to teach them if you were a member of Crochet Guild of America. I teach Solomon's knot or lover's knot, whatever you want to call it. Foundation stitches, both the traditional foundation stitches, and then I have a separate class that is specialties, so like granny square starts and eyelets and how to start even filet crochet with a foundation rather than a chain, that kind of thing. We talked about cables, linked in extended stitches. So when I teach those lives, I teach linked stitches and extended stitches all in a 3-hour class, but I can break those up for smaller classes. I think you've probably seen I teach reversible fabrics. So reversible ripples is one and reversible shells is another. Ripples I haven't taught in a long time, and it's kind of a difficult class to teach. So I haven't actually been pitching that one. So maybe I can find a way to teach that in a different way. I teach the Savvy Single Crochet, which is the 6 basic stitches of camel crochet, if you've ever heard of that. I teach shawl shapes. I teach how to do shawls on the side, sideways, back side to side, how to design your own shawl side to side. I do socks, everything from cuff down to toe up, and I teach you how to do those. I talked about top down sweaters. I teach Tunisian basic stitches. I teach Tunisian in the round, and I teach Tunisian entrelac, but I can add other Tunisian to that as well. Oh, and short rows, Tunisian short rows. I have that one too, I forgot. And I teach Venetian lace, which is kind of a specialty type of lace. Haven't taught that in a long time. But those are my classes that are kind of the standards. So if there's anything there that sounded really interesting to you, let me know. I'm going to go back here. Anybody else have a suggestion that they would like me to teach? Any of those sound interesting to you? Let me know. I'm really looking for ideas because I don't want to just offer classes to offer classes. I want to know what you guys are interested in. Yeah, that's a lot of classes. Do you have the list somewhere? I currently, well, wait a minute. Let me see on my website if I did put that page back up. I used to have that page. Let me just see here really quick. Oh, and guys, too, just so you know, if you go to my website and it seems really, really slow and sluggish, because to me, it seems really slow and sluggish, I apologize. I am actually, after the crochet-a-long is over, I'm going to be switching to a new hosting company that is a lot faster. So I apologize for that. So in the meantime, let me just look here on my website. Oh, it's crawling today, guys. think I might have the classes on my website. If it might not be live yet, but oh, it's being slow. Okay, I don't have it on my website right yet. I do need to put that page up, I believe, unless, is it on my wholesale page maybe? So I do offer to teach classes. If you have a local yarn shop that's brings in teachers, I know there's a few shops in Florida that do it a lot. Well, actually all over the country. Yeah, no, I don't have the classes on the website, but what I will do is I'll see if I can get, it probably won't happen until after the wedding, but I'll try to get that list up for you guys. And I'll try to give you the little synopsis of what each class is. So, and a lot of these classes were developed for live events where I taught in either 3-hour blocks or 6-hour blocks. Like my sock class, even if I do it online, it's still 6 hours, but it's 4 weeks at an hour and a half each week. And my sweater classes, this is going to be the same way, I think, if I can get it condensed down. But I will get that up for you guys so you guys can look at that too. Tunisian, okay, I can offer Tunisian. I know a lot of people want to learn Tunisian, and I didn't realize how big of an audience Tunisian suddenly has. You like designy type classes, things that help me put pattern and yarn together. Okay. And want to learn Tunisian. Also I haven't taught mosaic crochet, but I do it. I have done it in the past. I could offer to do, I'm going to put that down. Mosaic. And then Tunisian. Anything else, guys, out there? Designy, putting yarn together. So, Michelle, when you say yarny, designy type classes, are you talking about a particular, like a project class where, let's say I have a pattern for a sweater and I help you pick out the yarn for it, and then we learn how to construct the sweater? Or what exactly are you asking for that class? Is it more, because that crochet-a-long might be what you're thinking of. I don't know exactly what you're looking for there. Are you looking to learn how to be a designer? That kind of thing. So let me know what you're asking for. Anything else though? Anything I didn't list? Garment construction, okay. Now, when you are saying construction, are you talking about actually designing your own garment, or are you talking about just like creating a sweater from scratch? I mean, from a pattern and understanding how to construct it and put it all together. Okay, and Stephanie says, oh, so you want a color theory class. Okay, so Renee is saying like how to do a button placket. So if you're doing a sweater and you're trying to decide, you're making a cardigan, or you're taking a pattern that was a pullover and making it into a cardigan, how to create your own button placket, or just how to attach it? Okay, got you. Okay, I mean different things. So finding the right pattern for the yarn. So like me, where I have this section right here of yarn that I bought, and I haven't decided what to do with it yet. So that's one. Yeah, I can understand that. Chew. Okay. Okay. Got those. Okay. That's actually good. So color theory is something actually I've been tossing around, add to my um, my classes. There's a lot of different techniques for that, so I thought might be a really good like 2-week class. Now that I'm thinking about it. Now there's certain things that I don't teach because there's other instructors who teach them a lot better. Um, so I'll say what those are if you guys mention them. But things like working with spreadsheets to come up with pattern, that stuff. I mean, I can do it, and I do it. I use it a lot in garment construction, but I'm not good at teaching that kind of thing. I'm more of a hands-on. Let's learn these stitches. Let's learn how to make a shawl or make a curve or do a specific technique or make a pair of socks, whatever. But anything that's techy, that respect, I can do it because I am a tech person, but I'm not good at teaching tech. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so Michelle says, in addition, you enjoy classes that teach me the math, the thought process of either turning yarn into pleasing fabric or turning idea into an actual piece. So okay. So for the math class and the thought process, that is Edie Ekman all the way. So that is why I don't teach the classes that Edie teaches, because she's a better teacher at that, the techie stuff, the math. The only thing I do teach the math on is when we're talking about socks, when we're talking about garment design. So like my top-down sweaters class is literally learning how to make a sweater from the neck down for yourself with just a few measurements and designing it for yourself, or for, if you have a grandchild or a sibling or a child that you want to make a sweater for. I teach you that process of how to make a raglan style top down. I am also working on, it's not available yet, and I haven't taught it yet, is working on that same technique top down, but with the yoke style, the round yokes that you see a lot of the knitting Fair Isle, and I know they're doing them in crochet now too. Because I do those as well. I just have never taught the class. So that's something to do. But so like turning an idea into a cardigan, into an actual piece, that's where my top down sweaters class come in. Not my design, but following a pattern that requires little more than written instructions. Okay, so you're talking about patterns that don't have charts. So basically pattern reading, or patterns that aren't written well. We were talking the other day about swatching as being the first step of designing. I'm interested how we do that. Do you have a favorite yarn and make a million swatches? When I swatch for a project, I can tell you that right off the bat. If it's a new yarn to me, like Noro, let's say, the Noro Sonata, when I was first going to be doing that shawl, I literally took an extra skein that I told you they sent me multiple colors, and I swatched it in single crochet, double crochet, shell stitch. I did some other stitches that I like that I tend to use in different ways for different things. And I will make a swatch. But when I talk about swatching, for the most part, it's when you're actually working on a pattern and they give you a gauge and how to do a swatch for working a pattern. But I can also teach you how to do swatching before designing. That's something I can talk about. And all the different little, let me do that. Swatch for design. So like, for example, with this yarn that I'm using, I didn't have extra skeins of this. So to design with this, I didn't use this one. I used the other color that I'm working on right now. I made a swatch, but I didn't cut it. I just made a 6 by 6 inch swatch of this, of a couple different stitches. I did the first stitch, I didn't like it. Did a second stitch, I didn't like it. I ripped it out, steamed the yarn a little bit so there's not all the bumps and bumps. Finally, the third stitch pattern is exactly what I wanted. I make a 6 by 6 swatch, do not cut it, and block it on my blocking board. I pin it out and steam it is what I do with that. And I get my gauge. I always make a 6 by 6 because you should measure gauge in 4 inches, and you should never use the ends or the top and bottom rows. You should always be in the middle of the work when you're checking gauge. So whenever I'm swatching anything as I start designing, it's always in the yarn that I'm going to use for the project. Now, a lot of times companies like Knitting Fever or Lion Brand or anybody else out there that's one of the more major brands out there, not the indie dyers, they will send me samples of new yarns. And those are yarns that maybe I don't have an idea with. Those are the ones that I will just make a million swatches out of that yarn. In fact, right here is my Knitting Fever yarns. And these are probably going to be yarns that I'm going to swatch the heck out of and see if any of the stitch patterns that I use or any of the ideas that I have for those yarns will work. So that's kind of what I do with that. But I could definitely talk about that. That actually might be just like a mini video of what I can do, what I do and how I do it. That might be actually a really good, I don't know that could necessarily needs to be a class. It could be more of me showing you different swatches and why I made them with new yarns, that kind of thing. But whenever I work on the act, you would pay for that, Michelle? Okay, that's good to know. I'd have to think about how I would put that together. But yes, that's something I can actually teach about. So I'm trying to think what else. I've been wanting to do, well, if you've been following me for any period of time, I have been asked, I've been designing for 23 years professionally. I've been designing since I learned to crochet, but as a professional, I've been in business for 23 years. And I've been asked repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly by a lot of people because I'm one of the few designers out there in crochet who has had staying power, who's been designing, has books, teaching classes nationwide. And so I've been asked to do the business of crochet, how I believe I've succeeded in what I've been doing all these years. And not to say that there's not newer designers who are more successful at what they do, but why I am not an influencer and why I am a professional. So I am actually working on something to do that. And why I believe I don't believe in the influencer movement. I have some affiliate links, but I feel like, why would I promote products when I've worked so hard to build a name for myself and my own patterns and that thing? So, I have affiliate links for my favorite products, but why would I switch to Cricut? Why would I do, Clover's pom-pom makers kind of thing? That's not what I want to support. I want to support what I do. So I am working on what I'm calling the business of crochet, a new type of thing. It's going to be on the blog, but it's going to be different. So I will be doing, I can't really talk about how I'm actually going to be doing this. So there's something else that's going to be coming up the pike. I teach Amanda Fish classes because I can, yes. And that's what I like too. That's why a lot of people call me the technique teacher, because I teach a lot of different techniques and there are different things that you can learn to do. So Yes, that's exactly what I want you guys to look. I mean, I don't mind doing project classes like my jewelry classes, my beaded ropes and the stuff like that, or how to make a pair of cuff down socks, that kind of thing. But my biggest thing is that I want anybody who's in one of my classes to come out learning something that they can use elsewhere. Does that make sense? I like that. Influencers seem to have too simple stuff, crank out a lot of stuff. Yes. And my mission is not so much to just crank out a bunch of stuff and make a lot of money. My mission in crochet is to give you well-written patterns using finer weight yarns, making things. I mean, my photographer, I don't know if any of you guys know who she is. Maybe Andrea might know her name. I don't know. Her name is Gail Zucker, and she is she's written some knitting books, and she's a professional photographer out of she's in Connecticut. So I ship all my stuff to her. I'm just now working with another new photographer, but I haven't talked to her much about what my samples are like. But Gail has been doing my books and my patterns now for almost 3 years. And the things she said is that I have changed her mind about crochet. It's not all granny squares and bulky yarn. And I'll be honest, when I started, I was doing everything in worsted weight, maybe a little bit of sport, but mostly worsted weight. And I learned lace. I mean, I was doing size 10, size 20, size 30 lace with my grandmother at 12. And honestly, when I first started, it was because I went to the heavier weights because I just got tired of those fine yarns. But then I realized that the finer yarns are more suited to the things that I like. I mean, you're not getting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man look in sweaters and garments and stuff like that. So to me, the business of crochet is going to be about what the difference between a influencer is and a professional designer. And I'm calling it professional designer because I have a different view of what professionalism is than most crocheters these days. So that's the reason why I use that term. But yeah, the crank, and I want to serve you first. I want to give you the patterns that you want, and not just crank out stuff because a yarn company wants me to crank it out for them and sell their product, because my product is me and my design, the way I design things, the style, and so I don't want to give away everything that I'm going to talk about, but yeah, that's coming up the pike. But yeah, you have heard of her, yes. And yeah, but it's kind of nice to hear someone like her, and like even Franklin Habit. Whether you like Franklin or not, he's definitely a big name in the knitting industry. And he saw my last book at an event we were both at, and he said, "Karen, this is what crochet needs to be. This is the kind of crochet I want people to see." So I was, so what I'm doing is different. I mean, there's other crochet designers who use fine weight yarns and stuff like that, but I try to go a step further than everybody else. Let's put it that way. I can't wait to learn all about that. I don't know if I'll ever be a designer, but I'd like to be able to design. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm hoping, because I haven't been able to sit down and do everything I want to do for that particular part of what's happening next year because of the wedding. The wedding is like taking over my life. But I am going to, I will be releasing more information as time goes on. It'll probably be after the crochet-a-long. So just so you guys know, because I need time to really flesh everything out on how it's going to be. I mean, I've got kind of an outline of what I want, but now it's got to be fleshed out. So cool. Okay, guys, it's after 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do my closing, and then I'll come back to the chat room, and we can say goodbye. If you guys have any more questions, I'll answer them then, but I want to do the closing first, and then I'll come back to the chat room. So thanks you for watching this video all the way to the end. I really appreciate that. If you've never seen my videos before, you can learn about me at KarenWhooley.com. Everything that I do is there at KarenWhooley.com. So classes, books, patterns, everything. Also, while you're there, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. And that's a direct link right there to subscribe to my newsletter. Remember too, like I said earlier in the show, you get 25% off all new releases, and I have a pattern being released. This pattern's being released next week. And if you get it starting next week, you will be able to order the print copy. Otherwise, you will only get the digital copy if you go through, I should have mentioned that earlier, through Stilly River. She will only do the digitals. So if you want a printed copy, you gotta buy directly from me. If you're not watching on YouTube, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel and make sure you hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. Both of those will show people that there is a Team Whooleygan out there and we can get more followers, and I'll show up in more feeds that way. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is at Karen Whooley. I'm usually the most active there. I'm usually posting every day, but now with the wedding, I haven't been able to do as much. So but starting in September, you should start seeing me build that back up. So that'll be coming, but definitely follow me on Instagram. If you are interested in my Rumble channel, this is Rumble. Rumble does not allow me to live stream, but it is my most popular video streaming platform right now. We've outpaced YouTube. So what I do is after these videos, I immediately post them up to Rumble. So make sure you check that out as well. And lastly, if you're not watching this on Facebook, this is my Facebook page. I'm not as active for most things there, but I do live stream every week, both to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So make sure you check that out. Okay, I'm going to head back to the comments just to see if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. You guys have I'm so glad you guys were here. You guys have given me so many ideas now of what I can do going forward with classes, because now I kind of get an idea of what my followers want to see. But make sure if you're a newsletter subscriber, you answer my survey in my my newsletter that's coming out the first Friday in September. That will give me more detail on what you like and what you'd like to see. So hope you guys have a great week. I'm glad, Michelle, thank you for being here. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. And okay, and Fernando, you just popped in, but I'm leaving now. So okay, that is definitely not somebody we want here. So I'm going to block him. There we go. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for helping me think things through too. And thanks for putting up with me and my crazy brain these days. I'm really hoping that in September, once the wedding's over, I feel like I'll get back to who I normally am. And I will see you guys next week. So I'm planning to be here next week. If things, get crazy, I might not, but I'll let everybody know. But I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.